Hello, it's Carrie here from the Female Entrepreneur Association, and welcome to the 10-Minute Masterclass, your weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So today I am really excited because we are talking about something that I am currently in the process of doing, and it's something that I know so many entrepreneurs want to do, and that is writing a book. I feel like so many of us have a message that we want to share in a bigger way, and we dream of writing a book, but then for so many people it remains just that, a dream. Well, not anymore, because we are joined by the lovely Morgan Gist MacDonald, who is the founder of Paper Raven Books, and she is going to be sharing her top tips on how you can write the book you've always wanted to write and create more credibility, growth, and sales for your business. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. I am so excited because I know that the women in the FEA community have some incredible books, and I can't wait to see them start coming out.
I know that's the thing. I think with us entrepreneurs, there's so many of us, or probably all of us, we've got this message that we want to share, and I think so many of us do dream about writing a book. So my dream and idea for writing a book started 4 years ago. 4 years ago. It's taken me 4 years to show up for this dream. I think writing a book is scary, it's overwhelming, it's confusing, you know, well, at least I found it that way. And I think so many other people struggle with this, and there's been so many times when I've procrastinated and just wanted to completely give up and forget that I even had the idea to write a book. And too many people end up completely quitting and never actually getting their message out there in the form of a book, which I think is such a tragedy. So I think that's why I'm so excited to talk about this, and also excited to hear your tips because I'm writing a book. So let's just jump straight into it. What can people do to actually write the book they've always dreamed of writing?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and just quickly, part of the reason that we have such a hard time with writing a book is because most of the advice around writing a book is so vague. It's kind of like you go to someone and say, oh, I'm ready to write a book, and they say, great, you know, write an outline and a mind map and then just write the book. You're like, well, but how do I do this? What's the steps? And in my mind, that's kind of like deciding that you want to hike a mountain, like you want to climb up a mountain. And you bring a guide with you, and you all are standing at the base of the mountain, and you turn to the guide and you say, okay, great, I'm ready to walk up this mountain. How do we do it? And the guide's like, well, you just, you know, climb up all day long. You're like, well, that's not very helpful. I'm sure there's more to it than that. So that's why I love having like a step-by-step process. And really, when you break down a book, it's just like any other big project. There's always like smaller incremental steps that you can take every day, like committed action on a regular basis to get you from like this vague idea all the way through your first draft and revisions and your finished manuscript. So what I would love to share today is 3 ways that you can jumpstart writing the first draft. So we're going to get from vague idea to writing through your first draft. Does that sound good? Alrighty. So first tip is free writing. So this is actually something that you feel like maybe you've done before, but I'm just a twist that's going to make all the difference. So this idea was actually popularized by Mark Levy, and he uses it with business people to generate like really innovative business ideas. But I've taken his process and tweaked it for writers specifically, and it works beautifully. So to do free writing, you get a timer, and I use my iPhone, and set it for, start easy, start with 5 minutes, and put your hands on the keyboard or pen to paper with write fastest. That's what we're going for, is speed. And then you bring your book topic to mind, very general, right? You're not writing the introduction, you're not writing chapter 1, just really general. Put start on the timer, and you literally write as fast as you can. And this is where the magic happens. It's a little uncomfortable at first because you're not used to typing or writing so quickly, but you're pushing past that like judgmental part of your brain. You know, usually when you sit down to write and you're like, okay, I'm writing my book today, and you start trying to type, you get like half a sentence out, and you're like, oh, that's terrible. It doesn't even make sense. I hate that. Like, I can't write that. And then you hit delete, and then you like stare at the computer some more, and it's just like the most painful process ever. So this, yeah, you've been there, I'm sure, like yesterday.
Yeah.
So the free writing pushes past that completely, and you are forcing yourself to write quicker than those judgmental thoughts can come out. So if you do this for even just 5 minutes, I guarantee you will come up with some new insight or idea that you haven't had before. So I recommend for people who are just starting to write their book to free write for 5 days in a row. And I think it's important to do it in a row because then you get like this cumulative effect. You get like the ideas kind of pouring out. You do one free writing session and then you kind of sleep on it. You wake up the next day and you find like new ideas sort of ready and waiting for you for your next free writing session. So by the end of 5 days, most people have a lot more clarity about what they're writing. So that's the first tip. And then the second tip is creating a rough organization. So this is, it's not an outline and it's not a mind map. It's something a little bit more linear but flexible. So I do this over a 2-day process, and now that you've got like all these ideas kind of buzzing in your brain, you need to get them out onto paper. It's a brain dump. You literally just have either a new Word document or a piece of paper, and you write out every single idea, insight, story, piece of advice, like everything that you want in the book, and you don't worry about the order or organization right now at all. Just get it all out, and once you feel complete, go back to the beginning, read through them, and add any other little notes that you think of. And then I like to put like at least an hour, overnight is best, and then come back and reorganize this rough organization. And you're going to be copy and pasting. You'll say, oh, this idea is actually related to this one down here, and these 2 ideas go really well with this idea up here, and you start grouping them. And then you put, once you realize the groups have a common theme, you put a subheading on them, and then if you see several groups related, you put a chapter heading on them. And so by the end of this like shuffling and reorganizing, you have basically a rough organization. It's an outline. It's not 100% perfect, but it should feel complete enough that you have confidence to start writing the first draft. And then
I did that one with post-it notes so I could move them around. It was really helpful.
Exactly. So it's that same idea. I get kind of overwhelmed by post-it notes, so I like everything kind of like in a document. But yeah, if post-it notes work for you, go for it. All of this is, you're right, it's up to your own personal preference to some extent. Like, take it and tweak it and make it your own, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the last tip that I would share is to write. So you start with the rough organization and you write in 25-minute chunks. So you start with item number 1 on the rough organization and set your timer for 25 minutes and write it out to completion. Maybe that first item on your rough organization will be 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs. It doesn't really matter, but write until you feel like you've explained that idea completely, and then move on to the second one. And when that 25-minute timer rings, make yourself take a break, at least a 5-minute break. This is taken from the Pomodoro method, which is a productivity style that's like in these 25-minute bursts. And if you want to come back to writing, do another 25 minutes. If you want to call it done for the day, you know what? A lot of my writers just write 25 minutes once a day, and they make steady progress from, blank page to finished first draft. So if you can do this 25 minutes steadily, methodically through the rough organization, you end up with a first draft.
That is pretty cool. I feel like all those tips are so helpful for anyone wanting to write a book. I mean, I wish I'd have known some of those things right back at the beginning when I first got started, just because it gets so confusing and it gets so jumbled up because there's so much you want to say, and I think you have this pressure of like, I'm writing a book, it needs to be perfect, and you can just put so much pressure on yourself to feel like you have to have everything organized and know it all. So I think to give yourself permission to let it be a bit messy and to have that rough organization and to just let yourself free write. What a great idea. So thank you so much for coming to share your wonderful tips. I know you've got some free stuff, so what have you got that people can download?
Yeah, so this is like the very first part of writing the book, and I actually take people through a 12-step process of writing the book. So it's these vague ideas and the first draft and revisions and editing and beta readers. So all of this, it comes down to 12 steps. And I'd love to give this to the FEA community, all 12 steps in this little quick start guide. It's called 12 Steps to Write a Book That Boosts Your Business and Builds Your Platform. And you can grab that at paperravenbooks.com/FEA.
Oh, cool. I will definitely leave the link to that below this video, so everyone definitely check that out. Also, I feel like we should set everyone a challenge to do some free writing every day for the next 5 days. I think it's such a simple but probably very powerful thing that anyone wanting to write a book can do. So if you're wanting to write a book, get involved and do the challenge and challenge yourself for the next 5 days to just spend 5 minutes a day free writing and see what results you get. I would love to hear from you, in fact. If you do it, make sure you leave a comment below and let us know how you get on. But Morgan, thank you so much for coming to share those amazing tips with us. They're so brilliant, and I think people are going to love them, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on, Carrie.
And I really hope all of you enjoyed that as well, and I'm sure you did enjoy Morgan's tips if you're wanting to write a book. I would also really love to know, if you have written a book already, then share the details of your book below in the comments and let us know any tips or share any of the lessons you learned throughout your experience. And if you're wanting to write a book, leave a comment as well and let us know if you want if you want to tell us what it's about. We'd love to hear about it. Or if you have any questions at all, then leave a comment below and we'll do our best to answer you. But I really hope you've enjoyed this session, and I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch one of our videos. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I've got something really exciting that I would love to send your way. We have created the Make It Happen guided visualization for you to listen to every single day for the next 30 days to help you to condition yourself to make incredible things happen. And along with that, we have the Make It Happen workbook to help you to get really clear on your goals, to get so much focus and clarity, to make a plan of action so you know what you need to do and when you need to do it. So if you would love us to send them your way, then all you need to do is subscribe to the email list below and they will be on their way to you. So definitely do that and come and join an incredible group of women who are so passionate and determined to achieve amazing things and build successful businesses. And I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass.